Hi kids! Alright, here we go, lesson 26. Very similar to lesson 25, except that we are switching the location of the dividend. The dividend's always first, but we're switching the type. So yesterday we had a whole number divided by a fraction, and today we have a fraction being divided by a whole number. So it's going to look a little different with the tape diagram. So I have yesterday it's a whole number divided by a fraction. Today it's the fraction divided by the whole number. So we're going to divide a unit fraction, typically with a 1 on top. Sorry, the pencil is so light, by a whole number. So just to review, if you take 1 and you divide it by half, you get 2 parts. I also showed you kind of the keep it, change it, flip it method, which is really what I am thinking about when I'm doing this. Because I know that it works and it's super fast, but we will still have to show the division and kind of the big long method and then check that, but I might sneak in a couple answers. So anyway, just a little bit of a warm up here. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the notes because it has quite a lot of work today. So anyway, I guess we can take a look at pan of brownies. Nolan gives that to 3 friends. If I have 3 pans and 3 friends, then everybody gets a pan. But if I only have 1 pan and 3 friends, then I have to divide 1 by 3. So this goes back many lessons to recognizing that this is a fraction and a division problem in itself, 1/3 pan per friend. So what if then it's kind of off and I only have a half pan to divide? That's when you end up with your 1/2 pan divided by 3. But you can multiply by the reciprocal. So keep the first fraction because that's what you have. You can't change that. Divide by the 3 or multiply by the opposite and get 1/6. So that's always my favorite thing to do. Today we'll be changing the whole to be an equivalent fraction so we can divide by this whole number, just like we did yesterday. Now, let's see. So I have a few more notes we'll kind of buzz through. Nolan has 1/3 of a pan to share with 3 friends. Keep it, change it, flip it. Keep, change, flip. There's your 1/9 pan each. What if you have a 5th to divide by 2 people? Keep the 5th, change the sign, multiply by the reciprocal, which is the opposite of the second number or the divisor, and you get your answer, 1/10. So lots of important and good stuff today. Again, a little bit darker examples. I don't know what happened with my other pencils, just really light. But lesson 25 has whole numbers being divided. Lesson 26 has fractions being divided. We are going to make tape diagrams. Here's the difference. This is a whole being divided. We have 8 parts. This is a fraction being divided. This is the amount of 1 part. So it kind of comes along, looks a little different. We are going to have to show, well, what happens if you make this whole an equivalent fraction. So you want to find something, and it's going to be the big number. Just like we did the denominator yesterday, I'm going to use the numerator today. So multiply by 2 halves to get 2/6. That's my new whole, equivalent to 1/3, 2/6. Divide by 2, 2/1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 1 is 6. It's still the same answer you get when you keep this, change the sign to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Okay? If you keep it, change it, flip it, you're going to get 1/6 a whole lot faster than you are if you go through this whole division process. Now you can check your answer by multiplying 1/6, work backwards, 1/6 times 2, and you get 2/6, which then if you simplify it, you get 1/3, which is what you had at first. Okay? Goodness, there are so many notes, but the lesson is quite long. It's another 4-pager. So if I have to slip those answers in there, I am going to do that when we get to the busy work, just like I did on lesson 25. Okay, let's do it. Draw a model or tape diagram to solve. Use the thought bubble. Oh, the thought bubbles, right. To show your thinking, write your quotient in the blank. Use the example to help you. thought bubbles are fun. I don't always follow this. Like, I get it, but we don't always follow that. Who has time for this? Okay. We will try. We will try. Example, 1/2 divided by 3. Remember that your tape diagrams are supposed to show the relationship of whatever the parts are to the whole. Part to whole. If I only have a half, that's where this shading part comes in, okay? But I'm taking this half, which is all I have, and I'm dividing the half into 3 pieces. So that's what this is all about. So this is actually what your model is going to turn into, only you're just going to do one, and you'll go doot doot, and you'll create it all at first, okay? So 1/2 divided by 3 equals 1/6. So this is the thinking. 1/2 divided by 3 makes 3/6. This is the part where they take the 1/2, okay? And if it was divided by 3, this is too big. Too big. Can you guys see that? I'm going to move it over. And so what I need to do is take the 1/2 and make it bigger. I need it to be at least as big as the 3. So if you get 3/6, that's an equivalent fraction. And now I can divide, and I get 1/6. And so it matches my answer here, but this is all that, like, oh, Common Core, let's write it out in unit form. So 3/6 divided by 3 equals 1/6. So on my lesson, I'm going to always encourage you to multiply by the reciprocal, because you will get the answer, and it will be so fast and easy. But we also are going to do tape diagrams. So 1/3 divided by 2, draw a tape diagram, make it 1, and then it's in 3 parts. So I have 3 parts to 1, and this is 1/3, so I'm going to go ahead and shade it. Okay, this is 1/3, correct? And so I'm going to divide my third into 2 pieces. I'm going to divide all of my things into 2 pieces just so I can see what the size of my 1 is now. Okay, so how many pieces am I creating? You can show it with your same thing. You can just rewrite it, okay, to kind of set up. And then you can show your 1/3, change it, flip it. And this is that 1/6, okay? I'm taking the third and I'm dividing it into 2 parts. So what is one of those? What is one of those? Okay, so the answer is going to be as you whittle it down, okay? So 6/6, you can do the 1/3 divided by 2. I can't divide by 2, so I need to make this one bigger. So 1/3 times 2/2 equals 2/6. That's my equivalent fraction now. Divide by 2 over 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 1 is 6. Okay, so this is the division, but nobody ever does it that way. Okay, you're going to be able to multiply by the reciprocal. I should probably fill in the answer. Okay, next one. Move this up. All right, 1/3 divided by 4. Make a tape diagram. I don't have 1, I have 1/3. So show 1/3. But this time I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces. So what would one of those pieces be? Okay, now you're going to want to divide each one and try to keep your in-between dividers. It just helps with counting because you're going to make a lot of little pieces. Okay, so I can see that it's going to be 4, 8, 12. It's going to be 12ths. It's going to be 1/12. But I need to show all the work. So 1/3 divided by 4 over 1. And that is going to be 1/3 times 1/4, which shows the 1/12. That is the answer there. But just to show you understand how many 1/3 divided by 1/4, this has to be big enough for me to divide, and I said 1/4 and I meant 4/1. This has to be big enough for me to divide by 4. So I'm going to take the 1/3 and multiply it by 4/4 to get a number big enough to divide. And again, 4/12 is equivalent to 1/3, so I can use 4/12 instead. Divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 1 is 12. I still can get the same answer, but it's so much easier to multiply by the reciprocal. Alrighty, we'll do a couple more of these. And 1/4 divided by 2, let's make a tape diagram here. This is 1 right now, but I need to show 1/4. And I'm going to divide it into 2 pieces. So you can just split all the rest. That's a terrible model, but that's okay. We will get over it. And so take your 1/4 and divide by 2 over 1. And what's going to happen with that? I'm going to do 1/4, keep it, multiply by the reciprocal. 1/8 is the opposite. That's our answer. Okay, and that's 1 piece. And you can certainly do 1/4 divided by 2 and realize that I can't divide 1 by 2, so I need it to be at least as big as the 2. Okay, it has to be as big as the biggest number. So I'm not worried about this one, I'm worried about this one. That's where I get the 2/8. That is my new equivalent, so take your 2/8, divide by 2 over 1. Oh no! The lights went out and it's so dark. That was super dark. That was super dark. 2 divided by 2 is 1. It's super cloudy out. It's raining. 8 divided by 1 is 8. So there's our 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. You can, how many different ways can we get the same answer? That's Common Core. All right, 1/4 divided by 3. It's not 1, it's 1/4. That tells you how often I've been up. I didn't even get up for 3 over 1. Sorry, I haven't gotten up in a while. That's why the lights went out. Lights went down in the city. 1/4. Keep it. Change the sign to the opposite. Do the opposite. Multiply. And I forgot to make my little models. Thirds. 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 3, 6, 9, 12. One of them. 1. Okay? 1. 1/12. You can also take 1/4 and divide by 3. And then you say, I can't divide by 3. This is too small. Let's make 1/4 bigger. Let's make it an equivalent. 3/12. Let's use that as our whole. 3/12 divided by 3 over 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 1 is 12. There you go. So fun. Okay, now this one, I'm only going to do 1 or 2, and then I'm going to put the answers down because I don't want to spend all day doing busy work. So it says divide, then multiply to check. Okay, that's basically what we were doing. So we need our whole, W-H-O-L-E, to be big enough to divide by the divisor. So if 7 is a really big number, I need to have something big enough as my numerator because all of these are 1s on top, too small. I need to make it at least big enough to be divided by whatever is my divisor. So multiply by the divisor to make your numerator big enough, okay? So let's just put the whole number over 1. It'll save you a step later. Now, I need to multiply by 7/7. So 7 times 1 is 7, and 2 times 7 is 14. Now 7/14 is my equivalent fraction, and I can divide by 7 over 1. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 1 is 14. Now, all this could be avoided if you just multiply by the reciprocal. 1/2 is my whole. Multiply by the reciprocal of this, and I get 1/14 in one quick step. But you are supposed to multiply to check. Now I'm going to not use this as the multiply to like show how it's done in the check. I'm going to take the actual answer, 1/14, and I'm going to multiply by 7 ones, 7 over 1, which is 7. I get 7/14, which is what I started with here, which is actually then divisible by 7, and you get 1/2 all the way back to the beginning. So that's a lot of work in this little square, and most 5th graders can't actually get it in there. Most 5th graders probably won't do this unless you are a subscriber and you can see the awesomeness that is the keep it, change it, flip it method, or old math, classic math, as we like to say. I'm just going to do a couple, and then I'm going to show you the answers. This needs to be bigger. It needs to be at least times 6. So if I do that, I get 6 over 18 divided by 6 over 1. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 18 divided by 1 is 18. I could also find this out by multiplying by the reciprocal. So easy. And then I can also do what they want and have you check by multiplying this. You get your 6/18, which when you divide and simplify that, it goes back down. So it's basically saying divide and do all the work and then put it all back and get back to the beginning, which is just like divide and check for all the other stuff. So for regular long division is what I mean when I'm being so specific. So here it is. It's going to autofocus. So it's so much writing. I'm just going to talk you through it and save my hand, and then we'll do the word problems together. So you need to multiply by 5 so that you can get 5/20, which then is divisible by 5, which gives you your 1/20. You can do keep it, change it, flip it, and that's your 1/20. In fact, I don't even think I have the multiply to check here. 1/20 times 5 over 1 equals 5/20, which then when you divide by 5 equals 1/4, which is what you started with right there. Bam, there's your check. Okay, then same here. I need to multiply by the 4 in order to create an equivalent fraction that is large enough for me to divide. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 20 divided by 1 is 20. Or you could just keep the first, change the sign, multiply by the reciprocal of this divisor, and you get your answer. And again, if you want to check with multiplication, you can do 1/20 times 4 over 1 equals 4/20, which can be simplified to 1/5, which is what you started with. Okay, and at the bottom, you can pause the screen because I'm going to go fast and it's going to take a while. 1/5 is going to need to be multiplied by 2 halves to get the 2/10 to divide by 2 over 1, which gives you 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 1 is 10. And then here's your keep it, change the sign, flip that 2 over 1 to be 1 over 2, and get 1/10. That is your answer. You can check your answer of your division by multiplying 1/10 by 2 over 1, which gives you 2/10, which is simplified to 1/5. 1/6 needs to be multiplied by at least 3 to make a big enough fraction to divide by 3. 3/18 divided by 3 over 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 1 is 18. You could check that. 1/18 times 3 over 1 equals 3/18. Simplify that to 1/6. Or avoid the whole mess and just go keep, change, flip, and multiply by the reciprocal. 1/8 divided by 2, multiply by at least 2 to get this 1 to be 2. You have 2/16 divided by 2 over 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 1 is 16. You can multiply to check. 1/16 times 2 over 1 equals 2/16 equals 1/8. Divide both by 2. Or you could just do keep it, change the sign, flip, and multiply by the reciprocal, which is the opposite of 2. It is 1/2. And then you get 1/16 that way. Last one, 1/10 divided by 10. needs to be at least multiplied by 10 so that I can have something big enough for 1 to be divided by. Then you get 10 100ths divided by 10 over 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 100 divided by 1 is 100. Or you could do keep it, change the sign, flip that second fraction, multiply by the reciprocal, and get 1 100th. You can also check your 1 100th answer by working your way backwards and checking your division. 1 100th times 10 over 1 equals 10 hundredths, which is simplified to 1/10, which is what you started with. So I hope that is okay clear for you as we move into the rest of the word problems. Now we still have, gotta hurry up because we have 2 more pages. Tasha eats half her snack and gives the other half to her 2 best friends for them to share equally. What portion of the whole snack does each friend get? Draw a picture to support your response, and they don't mean draw Tasha and her friends. They mean make a tape diagram. Okay, so she eats half and gives half. So if I have a snack, one snack that is now half, okay, Tasha, and then this is the friends, and they're going to split this equally, okay? So if you want, what you can do is shade this side for the friends, and because this side is empty, essentially, she ate it, all gone. And they're going to split it equally. So what portion of the whole snack does each friend get? So that's how you're going to draw your model. And then you're going to take what is available, which is the half that's left, and it's being divided by 2 whole people. This is 2 wholes. Okay, 2 divided by 1 is 2 people. And I'm going to say, keep it, change the sign, multiply by the opposite, and get your answer. 1/4 each friend gets 1/4 of the snack, the granola bar, whatever it is that's so amazing. Okay, so if you really want to do the division way, you're going to have to take your 1/2 and multiply it by 2 so that you can make it big enough to divide by that. And you get your 2/4, which you can then use to divide by 2 over 1. And you can still do that. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 1 is 4. And you can still get your answer that way. Not my favorite. I like this way. This is my favorite. How about Mrs. Appler used 1/2 gallon of olive oil to make 8 identical batches of salad dressing? How many gallons of olive oil did she use in each batch of salad dressing? So she has a 1/2 gallon. It's not 1, it's a 1/2. Okay, so this is what she has. She has a 1/2 gallon. And she's going to make 8 batches out of this 1/2 gallon. So we need to divide what she has into 8 pieces, because I want to know what one of those is for a batch. This is 1 batch here. So I only have 1/2 to begin with. That's why it comes first. And I'm dividing it by 8, which is a whole number. When you have this situation, keep your whole, which is what you have, and multiply by the reciprocal so you can see how big each batch is. 1/16 of a gallon for each batch. Now, how many cups of olive oil is that? So this is a conversion question. You have to start thinking about not forgetting all the other lessons we've done. So I have 1/16 of a gallon, but I need to know how many cups that is. Okay, and if you need your reference sheet, what is it, page 167, refer to that. Yep, page 167 for reference. You should mark it with a sticky note if you have one, or a paper clip. Okay, so 1/16 of a gallon equals how many cups? Remember the procedure. Write and copy 1/16 times 1 gallon. That's 1 unit of the old. Then take your unit, 1/16 times the equivalent in cups of the new. So how many of these are in this? So it's 16 cups, new unit, the equivalent of the new unit. Now I have 1/16 times 16 over 1, because this is a whole number, and that's going to give me a very nice, easy answer. 1 cup per batch, because the 16s cancel out. Sorry, you can't see that. There it is. Not going to leave you hanging. Okay? Sorry, it's down on the line. But we do have another page, so let's finish this. Mariano delivers newspapers. He always puts 3/4 of his weekly earnings in his savings account and then divides the rest equally into, and then notice it says the rest, oh my gosh, I have to hurry, into 3 piggy banks for spending at the snack shop, the arcade, and the Subway, 3 places. So make your tape diagram. He has all of his earnings. He puts 3/4 in his savings and then divides the rest equally. So if you want to create this is savings, and then the rest is what we're really after, because this is what he divides into thirds. So now each whole would need to be divided into third. What does he put into each piggy bank? And so you're going to take what he has, which is this section, 1/4 divided by 3. Keep it, change the sign, flip and multiply by the reciprocal to get the 1/12 of earnings into each piggy bank, PB. There we go, not peanut butter, piggy bank. And then we'll have the last one. We are running out of time. Hey, if Mariano adds $2.40 to each piggy bank every week, how much does Mariano earn per week delivering papers? So let's take our $2.40, okay? And he's going to add it to each piggy bank. So how much? Each one. 1, 2, 3. How many are there? So technically, we've got 12 sections, okay? And we're going to work our way backwards to figure it out. So I need 12 as my factor. So $2.40 times 12. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Hold that spot. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Add those up. Now notice this is a decimal multiplication, but I don't have any here because we don't acknowledge it until we're done. 0, 8, 8, 2. Hundredths times ones is hundredths, or 1, 2 places, 1, 2 places. It's money, so label it. Mariano earns $28.80 per week. Yay! Hope you love it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Become a subscriber! Yay! Because I can do this in 30 minutes or less.